live. Here we go again. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're feeling happy. Today we are here once more with another live stream coming to you from the birthplace of the English language, which just happens to be, oh my goodness, it is England. Oh. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I really hope you are feeling good today. We are back again, as live can be. From the birthplace of the English language, a lot of people ask, is it true? Yes, it is true. England is where English comes from. You might be surprised to find out that a lot of people think English is American. It is not American. Originally, it came from here, this chunk of mossy rock, otherwise known as the UK, which is where I'm coming to you live from right now. My name is Mr. Duncan. I talk about English. You might say that I'm one of those up there. A lot of people do say that. They say that Mr. Duncan, he is one of those. He is an English addict. And I have a feeling you might be as well. I love English. I love everything about it. All of the big words, many of the small words, and everything in between. Even the naughty words. We all use them. Don't pretend that you never swear. We all swear. We all say rude words, either to ourselves when we are frustrated or angry, or maybe to other people when we are feeling in a very similar situation or with a similar emotion. We swear. We all say bad words from time to time. I think that's the thing that makes us human beings, to be honest. We all swear. We all say bad words. But I still love them all because they are part of the English language. So that is the introduction out of the way. I hope you are feeling good on this weekend. Yes, the weekend is here. Unless you haven't already noticed. Perhaps you've been sleeping for some reason. Maybe you've spent the whole weekend in bed. Who knows? Well, we have made it to the end of another weekend. Yes, it is Sunday. It is Sunday. Welcome to Sunday. It's ever so nice to see you here. It's always nice to see you here, of course. Live every Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time. People already asking, when can I watch you? Quite often in the comments under my videos. When are you live? Well, if you are watching now, I'm live right now. But if you're watching the recording, then I'm not live. But I have a feeling if you are watching now at 9 minutes past 2 o'clock UK time, then it is live. Whew. All of this time stuff really does become quite confusing after a while. Talking of time, we are talking and looking at the past today. Everything to do with looking back, remembering, thinking of the past for various reasons. Now, we do have some things to tell you. we've decided that today is the day when we reveal what is happening, because I have been saying over the past couple of weeks a lot of things have been going on and are going on at the moment. So we will be talking all about those later on. I don't like to keep secrets from you. So what we are doing, we are spilling the beans later. We are going to tell you what is happening in our lives. Some of it nice, some of it exciting, and some of it not so nice. So there is my little warning. It isn't all good news. Coming up later on. And of course we have the live chat. Hello, live chat. Hi, nice to see you here as well. Of course, without you, there would be no live stream. I would just be standing here on my own, talking to no one. I hope I'm not doing that now. By the way, please don't forget to give me a lovely like. You might not realise how important it is to like my lessons and my live streams. It is a very important thing, because if you do that, then YouTube will promote my live streams more on the site. So everything nowadays is controlled by computers with their algorithms. So more of these means more of this. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not sure. So we are looking back in time today. We have some very embarrassing photographs to show you as well. You may have noticed from the thumbnail on today's live stream, we are talking about the past, things from distant times in our lives. And of course, hopefully, you will be sharing some of your memories today as well. Can I also say hello to September? September is here. Isn't it nice? For some people anyway, because in certain countries, spring is arriving. However, here, autumn is arriving. So we are now feeling a little unhappy, maybe down slightly, because summer is almost over, winter is approaching, but before then, of course, we have autumn, which is not so bad. As you know, I like autumn very much. It is a great time of year because everything looks very nice and colourful. Hello also to the live chat. Yes, as I said, it wouldn't be this without you. We would have nothing to talk about. So hello to the live chat. Oh, very interesting. Congratulations, Mosen. Guess what? You are first on today's live chat. Congratulations to Mosen. You are first today on the live stream and the live chat. Hello also Vitas. You are in second place. In third place we have, very interesting, Luis Mendez is here today. I know already that we do not have Claudia. There is no Claudia today because she is busy with her own things. So there is no Claudia, unfortunately, unless, of course, she decides to pop in for a few moments. We will see what happens. Paolo is here. We also have Beatrice. We also have Jimmy. Hello to Jimmy from Hong Kong. Hello to you. Thank you for joining me today. Very nice to see you here as well. Valentin, Gosia, Zudzika, Ko-Luin is here as well. Nice to see you here. I don't recognise your name. Where are you watching from at the moment? Beatrice. We also have Marwa. Watching from so far away. Hello, Sandra. Hello also to... Who else is here? Oh, Bibba. Hello, Bibba Sani. Hello to you. Where are you watching? I have noticed over the past couple of weeks we have some new viewers. Not just new, but also new regular viewers. So it's great to see new faces and new names, but it's even better when I see regular viewers who have decided to come back and watch all of this again. Yes, we do have Mr. Steve coming up. Don't worry, Steve will be here today. We have a lot of news for you. Some of it good, some of it not so good. A lot of things going on at the moment in our lives. Hello, Kadir. Hello, Hamda. Ooh, a lot of new names. I'm getting a bit excited here, to be honest. By the way, it is exciting outside. We have some lovely weather. Would you like to have a look? Oh, it's a sunny day. It started off gloomy and wet, but then the sun came out and then everything started looking rather nice. You can see there the garden looking rather lovely with some flowers in the background. In fact, I think in the background, if you look closely, you can see some small pink flowers. Those flowers are Japanese anemones growing in the garden. So at this time of year, they start to come out and they normally last until the end of October. So they always bring some nice colour into the garden. And in the front of the picture, the live stream that you can see now from my garden, you can see there are some beautiful flowers coming through from the thistles. That particular plant is called a cardunculus, named after me. They named a plant after me. I can't believe it. How lovely. How nice of them to do that. Isn't that nice? Lovely. Tomek. Hello, Tomek. Nice to see you back. We haven't seen you for a long time. It seems like ages since you were last here. I would imagine you've been rather busy in your life as well. So it's good to see you back. Hello, Maria. Maria. I'm saying hello to Maria. Nice to see you as well. Hello, Anna. Anna Wah is here. Wow, so many people joining already. Thank you very much. Bruno25 is here as well. It's a busy one already. Wow. I wonder what is cooking. Oh, I see. So Lewis is asking Saturino what she is cooking today. What are you cooking today, Saturino? What are you cooking today? Hey, it's Matt. Matt Lindell. I haven't seen you on the live chat for a very long time. Nice to see you as well. Learning Maths and Science is here. Wow, it's a busy one. I could spend the rest of the day saying hello to everyone on the live chat. I could, because there are so many people here. Olga, we also have Trong as well. And we have Monica also joining us at this very moment in time. Would you like to see a funny photograph? Yesterday we had a busy day. We will explain more about it today rather. I will tell you what we were doing yesterday in a few moments. All of the words are there. They are just not in the right order. So here I am yesterday. Can you guess what I'm doing here? I'm doing something that I really enjoy doing, and I look rather pleased about it. But what am I actually doing? Can anyone guess what I'm doing there? What do I have in my hand, and what am I eating? I don't think this is very difficult. I think this is rather easy to answer, but if you think you know, please let me know. So what am I doing and what am I eating? And that is what I was doing yesterday. Mr. Steve and myself were feeling rather hungry, so we went somewhere to have something to eat. But can you guess where it is and what I was eating at that moment? I don't think it's too difficult to work out. Oh, Bruno asks, is it ice cream? Well, that is a very good answer. A very, very good answer. It could be ice cream, but it isn't. It isn't ice cream. It's something else. So think of something that I love eating. Think of something that I love putting in my mouth. Something thick. Something creamy. And something that I can't get enough of. Any ideas? No, it's not banana ice cream. I can tell you now, it is definitely not ice cream. It is not fruit salad. It is not custard. You might be surprised, actually, to find out what it is. I will give you the answer in a few seconds' time. It's coming up. Don't worry. Oh dear. So what am I eating? And where do you think I am? I am in a certain place eating a certain thing. I'm eating something very nice. There he is, keeping fit with his daily exercise. Mr. Steve will be coming up in a few moments' time. But what is it? What am I doing? Where am I? And what am I putting into my mouth? If you think you know what it is, give me the answer, because I'm about to tell you what it is. Oh, Tomek is very close. And also, I think we had a correct answer. Hello to Royal Tant. Ah, yes. Well, if you are like me and you love eating mashed potato, then there is one place that I love going to, and that is KFC. KFC, besides making lovely chicken, they also make very nice mashed potato. So that's what I'm eating there. And of course, you can't have their mashed potato without having their gravy. So that's what I was eating yesterday. I had not one, I had 2 pots of mashed potato and some delicious onion gravy as well. And as you know, I do like mashed potatoes, and I don't know why, or I don't know how they do it. But the mashed potatoes at KFC are very nice. So I couldn't resist. That's what we did yesterday. One of the many things we did yesterday that I will tell you about in a few moments' time. But yes, it's okay. You don't have to get it right. It's not a test. It's not a contest. Don't worry. But I have to say, I did enjoy it very much. Would you like to see a mystery photograph? Here's another one, another mystery for you to solve. So this is a mystery photograph. I'm going to show you something, and I want you to tell me what it is. You might be surprised when I give you the answer. What is this? I might also say, who is this? Oh, Mr. Duncan, you are giving us some clues straight away. So, the mystery photograph. Do you know what this is? It is something. It is perhaps even somebody, some person, or something. I've just realised that my clue is not a very good clue. So it's something that is, shall I say, alive? Something alive? Any ideas what it could be? Let me know on the live chat and I will tell you the answer a little bit later on. This is English Addict on a Sunday and I have some big news for you. Next week there will be a new lesson. A new lesson. An English lesson. Out and about. In fact, I will show you a photograph from the production while I was filming. So here it is. So this is me. Last week I was out and about filming right here in Much Wenlock. And you can see that I am in one of the main streets in the town where I live. And this week I will be publishing a new English lesson all about a particular subject. In fact, the clue is in the photograph. So there is a clue in that photograph about what the lesson is all about. So this week there will be a new English lesson published on my YouTube channel. I will probably publish it on Tuesday. And then that will give you plenty of time to watch it and hopefully watch it many, many times. So there is the news. I'm going to be giving you a lot of news today, some of it good and some of it not so good. But yes, there is a new lesson coming up on my YouTube channel on Tuesday. That is when I'm going to publish that lesson. Anna says, your mystery photograph, we think it might be a clam. Let's have a look, shall we? Yes, I think that's quite a good guess. It does look like the opening of a clam. Very good guess. Interesting. I will give you the answer a little bit later on. I will also ask Mr. Steve later as well if he knows what the answer is. We are looking at some unusual photographs today as well of Mr. Steve and myself when we were young, coming up today as well. So a lot of things coming your way. We have some photographs of Mr. Steve when he was young, of myself when I was young. We will be remembering. We are going to reminisce and think about the past. We are going to have a few happy memories and maybe some that are not so happy as well. All of that coming up in a few moments' time. And yes, Mr. Steve will be here in the studio. I know you like the cows. Would you like to see some more cows? Okay. don't worry, it's not snowing. Not yet anyway. Although autumn is coming and winter is also not far away as well. Welcome to English Addict on a Sunday afternoon, UK time. Here he comes.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Hello, wonderful viewers across the globe, across the universe, in fact, because, you know, in millions of years' time, people will be watching this. So I'm saying hello to you across the universe.
I wasn't sure what language that was.
Well, that was a strange language that I picked up from the ether.
Okay, that's great. That's a good way to start.
Yes, from about 20 million light years away, a planet that's connecting with me every night in my dreams.
Well, at least somebody is. No one else is, not on this planet anyway. So Mr. Steve is here. For those who don't realise, Steve is our regular guest on Sundays, but we might be seeing a little bit more of Mr. Steve.
Why, Mr. Duncan?
From now on.
I know I've got no excuse now, have I, Mr. Duncan?
No. Well,
no.
This is one of the things I have mentioned over the past couple of weeks, that many things have been going on behind the scenes. And to be honest with you, I don't like to keep secrets or things from you, because you are the community, you are our family, our English family out there. So, first of all, one big thing that has happened, I suppose we would call this something that is life-changing.
Well, there's been a lot happening at the moment today. Yes, I'll just explain about work. So I'm no longer working.
Mr. Steve is now not working.
Let's just say there have been some changes at work and I'm no longer employed. Let's leave it at that.
So if there is anyone out there who has a job that Mr. Steve can do, maybe sweeping the floors in a supermarket.
It's all amicable.
He's very good at chopping wood. So if you have any trees that need chopping down.
I've been doing that, Mr. Duncan. I've been chopping wood this afternoon. But yes. So I've been working for nearly 40 years continually, and it's going to be very strange. But I won't go into the details. But let's just say the company I've been working for the last 26 years and myself have parted company on amicable terms.
You know, already there is trouble already, Steve, on the live chat.
Really?
Tomek says, did they sack you?
Right.
Can we just
say...
No,
they didn't, actually.
Mr. Steve was not sacked. No. Can we just... See, this is the problem. When you say one thing, everyone else will jump to their conclusions.
Yes, Saturino, let's just say I've retired and leave it at that.
Even though Steve does not want to use that word.
Let's just say...
You've decided. You said a couple of weeks ago, didn't you?
No, I was not sacked. We'll leave it at that. I've got for legal reasons, I've got to be a little careful what I say.
Well, that's it. Well, I think you've explained it enough.
But let's just say we have parted on amicable terms.
Yes.
So if I say that, it means
good. Both
parties are happy of the arrangement.
Yes.
Anyone that works for a company knows that restructures take place from time to time.
And Mr. Steve is not getting any younger.
Exactly.
But he does not want to use the word retire. He doesn't want to really use that word. So you at the moment you're going to take it easy for a while, but it is a big change. It really is.
I'm going to be here all the time, Mr. Duncan. How are you going to like that?
Well, to be honest with you, you've been here all the time for the past 2 years.
Yes.
So because of lockdown and coronavirus, Steve has been here, but of course he's been working. But from last week, it all stopped. Mr. Steve is no longer working.
It's been building up for a few months. I've known that this is going to be happening for the last 2 months, and I'm fine with it. So, there's been a lot of changes in lots of companies because of the pandemic. People are working in different ways now. Companies don't need so many people. What are you laughing at, Mr. Duncan?
I'm not laughing, I'm smiling. I'm so happy because you are here all the time, forever and ever.
Let's just say I had a choice and I've chosen this path, and I hope it's the right one, but only time will tell. But no, I don't intend to retire. Don't want to use that word. That makes me feel old.
I think retire is an interesting word.
It means you're going to do nothing.
Because it is like, I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea, but I think the perception of retiring is giving up on life, or giving up on trying to do new things. So I don't think retire is a really good word. You might be taking a rest or having a transition.
A transition.
Although nowadays
that means other things.
Nowadays you have to be careful. So Mr. Steve is going through a period of transition
from one thing, which is full-time employment, to another thing,
which is nothing.
Which I don't know what that would be at the moment, but one of the reasons I've made this decision as well is because of another big change.
Yes, and so that's good news. Unfortunately,
yes,
you can't have good news without bad news. And the bad news, the sad news, is that your mum is not very well.
She's not very well at all.
So,
so it won't go into too many details, but let's just say she's in hospital. She's being cared for very well. They're looking at treatment options. But I now will be able to spend a lot more time with my mother, in what could be a limited period of time. So let's just keep it at that.
Yes.
Because I don't want to get upset.
But we wanted to mention that because of all of the changes that have been happening. And of course, there might be a few changes happening in the future as well. So we might not always be here. So yesterday we went to see your mother.
We did.
And we had a great time. We spent a long time. The only problem, there was one slight problem. We realised that your mother had nothing to read in the hospital.
She was bored.
In the hospital ward. Your mother said, "I am so bored." And so we decided to try and find a place that sold newspapers or magazines. And there was nothing there at the hospital. So I decided to walk outside. I went down the road and I carried on walking until I found a place that sold magazines, and I had to walk for quite a while. So I walked and walked and walked, and then eventually I found a place. So I bought lots of magazines and a newspaper for Steve's mum to read, and I walked all the way back. The only problem was I didn't realise just how far I had walked. So by the time I got back to the hospital,
you looked ill.
I really did not feel very well.
I thought you were going to have to get into bed with my mother.
Yes.
And put a drip on you.
I thought maybe I would be spending the night in the hospital as well, because I think I overdid it. I was carrying all of this shopping. I had to get some water for your mother because your mother does not like the water in the hospital.
I know, it's not very nice out of the tap. Not as bad as in some parts of America at the moment where they can't drink the water. I think it's Louisiana, is it? That's been on the news a lot.
Yes.
I've just seen something about that.
It is interesting when you hear these stories from a country certainly like the USA, when you hear stories like that, where there are water shortages, whole regions in the United States have no clean water or water that is drinkable. Well, at least I have my water today. Steve, I've made sure that I've got plenty of water.
Good, Mr. Duncan.
So this is my water bottle today to make sure that I don't become too thirsty.
I can't wait to see you drink from that.
Okay, I'll do it now. Here we go. I can do this. I don't think there will be any problems. So I'm just going to have a little drink of water.
You're thirsty?
I am very thirsty, actually.
Go on then. Off you go, Mr. Duncan. Quite a lot of comments. It's interesting the people that think I've been sacked. How did that go? I feel like taking it and pouring it over your head, Mr. Duncan.
Carry on.
By the way, Pedro's on. Hello, Pedro. Was it your birthday Was it last week or the week before? I saw something on Facebook which led me to believe, Pedro, that it was your birthday last week or the week before. In fact, I don't normally go on Facebook, as you know, but I saw this and I left you a little comment. Is it true? Was it your birthday last week or the week before? We all want to know.
Yes. We want to know. We want to know how old you are.
21, I would say, judging by the pictures we've seen. So yeah, Tomek mentions earlier as well about a word which I thought was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen Tomek for a while, so hi to you too. In Australia, they are using the word juice, J-U-S.
Oh.
Is this the same as the word gravy?
Oh.
We can talk about gravy related to something that you had yesterday to eat.
Yes, well, I've already talked about that.
Oh, right, yes.
Yes.
Well, juice, or juice, I think they pronounce it, J-U-S, is a kind of gravy. I think it's just like the juice
Yes.
from sort of meat. It's what comes out of things when they cook, the liquid that comes out, isn't it?
Yes. So we often, when you cook meat, there is normally a lot of liquid that comes out, and that it's normally just referred to as the juice of the meat.
The gravy. I think it is. Gravy is more sort of a thick where you turn those juices into something that you then pour onto your finished meal. So you add thickeners and things like that.
It can also be called stock.
Yes, I think stock and juice are similar.
So it's all the flavour. A lot of the
yes.
juice from the meat. It might of course, be pronounced juzz, because that sounds more Australian. One of the things about Australian English is you find there are a lot of words that are completely unique to Australian English that you don't use anywhere else in the world, like bonza. If something is bonza, it means it's good or great, but no one anywhere else in the world says bonza, only in Australia. Another one is grog, G-R-O-G, grog, which is alcohol. So beer, spirits, anything that you drink to get drunk is called grog. So there are many. There are another one, Steve, dunny. Dunny is toilet. So if you go to the dunny in Australia, it means you go to the toilet.
And yes,
the dunny is the toilet.
By the way, it was Pedro's birthday last Thursday on the 26th.
Finally.
So finally we know.
The mystery of...
You kept that secret from us.
It was such a mystery.
And what do we normally do when it's somebody's birthday?
We normally... what do we do?
Do we clap? I can't remember. We do something.
Well, normally I will give a little song like this. Hello, Pedro. It was your birthday last week, but unfortunately you were not here at the time. So now I would like to send you a belated happy birthday.
And we can all celebrate together. What did you get for your birthday, Pedro? What presents did you get?
Something nice?
And Pedro says he's 31. Well, you don't look a day over 21.
31?
Not that I've seen any recent pictures, but I'm,
Okay.
Oh, right. It's lovely, isn't it? We like birthdays. We've got somebody new on, I think, as well. I saw somebody early, if I can find that.
We've had quite a few new viewers today watching, in which case I would like to say welcome.
Welcome to, here we go. You will be able to pronounce that, Mr. Duncan.
It might be Nyan Nyan, watching in Vietnam.
Welcome. If you haven't been on before, welcome.
Yes,
if you have, welcome anyway.
We have a lot of people watching, a lot of viewers in Vietnam, so welcome to you. Welcome, one and all.
And Mohammed as well, I think, is a new subscriber. Mohammed Hanif Aquila, a new subscriber.
Hello
welcome
to you
too.
Hello. We have a mystery photograph, Steve.
Mystery
I'm
photograph.
going to give the answer to this right now. I showed this photograph earlier. Look at that, Steve. Now, the question was, what do you think this is? Or maybe, who do you think this is?
Well, they're not very well.
Really?
If that is a picture, a part of somebody's body, I would say that they're not in the peak of health.
We had a few answers. A clam. It isn't a clam, although we did have some that were very close. In fact, that particular thing has a name, and its name is Jonathan. I'm not joking, Steve. That's Jonathan, that is. That's Jonathan the tortoise. So the next question is, how old is Jonathan the tortoise? How old do you think Jonathan is?
I saw some. So I think somebody guessed that earlier because I've noticed that there were one or two comments about turtles.
Mm-hmm.
So I think somebody did get that right earlier.
Not a turtle, but a tortoise.
Tortoise were very similar. By the way, thank you, Lewis, for your comments.
It does. Yes, it does look a bit like Mr. Steve.
Well, it maybe I'll look like that in another 50 years' time.
But talking of age, how old is Jonathan the tortoise?
300, says Vitas. Anna says 190.
Anna, you are right.
Wow.
That tortoise is 190 years old. It's been verified. There are photographs taken of this tortoise over the years. So in the 1800s, this tortoise was wandering around. So all of the things that have happened in history have happened whilst Jonathan, I love the name, by the way. It's not a very, well, in fact, a lot of people were called Jonathan in the 1800s. Isn't that strange? So Jonathan, the tortoise, is 190 years old.
I've got to say, he looks it.
It looks like he's been doing...
He looks 190. He looks fossilised.
Isn't that amazing, though? And of course, certain animals do or can live for a long time. There are certain types of sea creatures as well, Steve.
There are.
That can virtually live forever.
Jonathan, 190, you don't look a day over 150.
That's very funny.
That is not a compliment. It's like when somebody says to you, my mother says, she's 91, and somebody says to her, she's going to the hospital, Mrs. Harper, you don't look a day over 80. Mm. It's not really a compliment because you're still, to my mother, if somebody said, you only look 40, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because then 40 still sounds young. But when you start to get into your 90s or when you're 100 and somebody says you only look 70,
okay,
it's
Steve.
not really a compliment. Well, it is, but you still look 70, so,
But this
find out when I get there.
Apparently somebody said it looks like E.T. It does a bit.
Does a bit, yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if when they designed E.T.
Monica says he looks like E.T.
Yeah, it looks like E.T. Definitely. So today we're looking at the past, Mr. Steve. The past. And I thought it would be interesting today to do that because, well, I suppose this morning we were looking through some old photographs, weren't we? Some old pictures of Mr. Steve when he was young. Would you like to see one of the most embarrassing photographs ever?
It's not embarrassing.
Of Mr. Steve.
Well, you see, I was looking at photographs because we went to see some friends of mine from when I was at, college days. And she said, have you got any old photographs of me when we were at college 40 years ago? And I said, yes, I have. I'll send them to you. But of course, when you start going through all your old photographs, you start opening them all up. And mine are not organised in any way. So, what should have been a 5-minute task turned into looking at a box with all the photographs. And I found these photographs that my mother gave me,
yes.
I think last year. of me when I was, younger.
Well, here we are.
Obviously.
Here we are. A picture, in fact, 2 photographs. You get 2 photographs of Mr. Steve as a little child. And I have to say, all I can say, Steve, is you were quite chubby.
Well, children are.
Yes. So there he is. There is Mr. Steve. So here,
Good grief.
so that's Mr. Steve. That looks like a school photograph. And the other one over there, I think that one is a bit younger. But you were a chubby baby.
Well, I was a bouncing baby.
Oh, I see.
I was a bouncing baby. Yes, I think I was. Obviously, I was in those jumpers as well. My mother used to knit all my clothes. Look at that. I could have been a model. I could have been a model baby, Mr. Duncan.
Yeah.
I think I was probably about, 3 or 4 in that one on the right.
Yeah.
And probably about 7, do you think, on the one on the left with the school
Yes, I would
tie
say
on?
because of the school uniform. In fact, I have a similar photograph as well to that one. I have a very similar photograph that I haven't loaded into my computer because I'm stupid.
Never mind. It's all about me today, Mr. Duncan.
Yes. Although I do have one. I have a young picture of myself. Here we go. So there is me, just to even things out.
We've seen that before.
Yes, well, some people haven't seen it
I'm
before.
only joking.
There are many, many people in the world, Steve. Here we go. So this is me taken, I must have been around 5 years old when this was taken.
You look older there.
Do I?
Yes.
No,
I think you're more like...
I wasn't. I
Oh,
was
right, okay.
5 or 6. It's okay. I think I know. I think I know how old I was. You wasn't there, Steve. I was. I was there in that photograph. So there is me. And yes, I know what you're going to say, Mr. Duncan. You have no glasses. That is true. I didn't start wearing glasses until I was 7, and that's one of the reasons why I know that photograph is before I was 7. Because 7 is when I started wearing glasses. So that is before then. I must have been about 5 or 6. I think maybe 6. Shall we agree on 6?
Go on.
Okay, then 6. Another thing you will notice as well, I have lots of hair. Yes, I know before you say it. It's the same with Steve as well. Another photograph of Mr. Steve. Here he is a bit older.
Oh my God, where did you get that from, Mr. Duncan?
Steve, you don't look very happy there.
Look at that hair. I'm so jealous. I think I was probably about 16 there, something like that. 15 maybe. Where was that taken? I don't know.
I don't know either. I wasn't there.
God, what does time do to you? Look at those collars. I think it was the 1970s.
But you don't look. You look like you're just thinking of something. Maybe you've been left. Actually, it looks like you're on a boat.
I think I was at school there.
I think you're on a boat.
Ah, yes, I'm with my Oh, yes, you've enlarged that. You've blown it up, haven't you, from a picture somewhere? Look at my thick hair. The hairdressers used to say to me, the barbers rather, because men go to barber shops.
Yes.
Not hairdressers in the set. Well, they go to hairdressers now, but they didn't when I grew up.
No.
My hair was so thick they couldn't get the comb through it, and now you don't need a comb at all.
Now it goes through like butter.
Exactly. Yes, no, that was 1970 something, that picture.
Yes.
I would say I was probably about...
Early teens?
Probably about 15 or something.
Oh my
Maybe
goodness.
16, I don't know. So we're talking, late 70s there.
So this is Mr. Steve in the late 1970s with lots and lots of hair. And the largest collars on a shirt that you've ever seen in your life. But then it was the style at the time, wasn't it?
Mosen says early 70s. I think it was. I was probably, I must have been about, how old did you say I looked there? 15?
Yes, I would say
Something
early
like that.
teens.
So
maybe.
it was early 70s, yeah.
And here's another one of Mr. Steve. This is Mr. Steve as a Boy,
Good grief.
Boy Scout.
You've been rooting through my photographs. If you root through something, it means you're searching through something. It's a good phrase to use, that.
Yeah.
If you've got a box full of things and you're looking for something, you root through it. It means that you're sort of in a sort of enthusiastic way.
Yes.
You're rooting through
And it's
something.
it's spelt the same way as something that grows underground from a plant. ROOT. You root.
You're going down, diving into something,
Yeah.
searching for something.
So it really does express the fact that you're going into something, you're digging deep down, you're searching for something, you are rooting through something, you are looking for something.
Yeah, so that I was probably about 6 or probably about 7 there, I would say. So that
Okay.
would have been about 1968 or something like that.
1968.
Yes.
Goodness me.
Right, yes. Oh, it's nice to look back. And I did find those photographs. So if Sonia is watching or Brent is watching today, I know Sonia is not very good at looking at emails or text messages.
Okay.
But if you have a look, you will find some photographs of you from 40 years ago,
Oh, good.
which will probably make her depressed.
This sounds like a personal message.
It is, yes.
So here's me, just to even things out, Steve. Concentrate on me first
It's
for
all
a second.
about you.
No.
I mean,
well,
I'm
it's all about,
joking. I'm
It's
joking.
been all about you, actually.
I'm joking.
Okay. Here's me with my mum.
You skinny runt.
Yes, thank you, Steve. Thank you for reminding me of all the bullies and what they used to say to me. I was so thin and skinny as a teenager, and there I am. That is me. I was around, I must have been about 15 or maybe 16 when that was taken. In fact, I may have been 17. I think I was actually 17 in that photograph, but you can see how thin I was. I was so skinny as a child. I really was. Very, very thin. And there, of course, is my lovely mum as well when she was young, standing outside our house, which we had to say goodbye to this year. So my mother is now in care, unfortunately, so she is also not very well. And that is a lovely memory of my mum and also me when I had hair and I was so thin.
Have you got photographs of yourself when you are younger that you would be willing to share with us? Because,
we probably won't be doing that.
Well, if somebody wants to, we can always say, this is Tomek when he was 6.
Yeah.
This is Pedro when he was 4.
It's a bit of a grey area with YouTube.
Victoria, Beatrice, anyone that wants to say, if you want to.
But we won't show them.
Why not?
But we can't.
Well, it was just a face headshot. I mean, we're not asking for naked photos.
Sorry, okay, Steve. All right, Steve, just.
I think
Just what? No, we're not. We're not asking for those. Oh my goodness! Please filter things before you say
I
them.
can't see what's wrong with that.
But look,
You've shown pictures of me.
YouTube, 16 years. Steve, no years on YouTube.
But you've shown pictures of me.
Yes, because that's us. Oh my goodness! Why can't you understand that?
I don't understand. Anyway,
It's YouTube. It can decide whatever it wants. It changes its rules every month.
yeah, but how does it know it's me or you?
Well, because we're saying it is.
What, you mean someone's watching? Yeah, but I could say.
Please, Steve.
Anyway, let's move on.
Please stop. Oh my goodness. Just trust me. When I say things about YouTube, trust me, I'm right about it. Just trust me, please. YouTube is a very strange place to be. Here is another one of Mr. Steve. This is a more recent photograph. This is when Mr. Steve was starring in a musical and he was playing the part of Prospero in a stage musical called Return to the Forbidden Planet. And I have to say, it's probably one of the best things you've ever done and been in.
I was an evil scientist.
Yes.
If anyone has ever watched Return to the Forbidden Planet, the film,
Yes.
then they will know that there is a... Well, he's not really evil. He does evil things, but he's a scientist.
Okay.
And yes, I enjoyed that. It was quite good.
But the thing I love about this is Steve had to memorize. He had to memorize lots and lots of Shakespearean dialogue. So loads and loads of Shakespeare he had to remember and recite on stage. And I have to say I was so impressed by that. It was quite amazing. And the sad thing is we have no video evidence or anything to show Mr. Steve in that role.
Lots of pictures.
Because lots of photographs, but no video, unfortunately, because they didn't allow us to film it.
Yes, Nitram says you showed a picture of Pedro
Yes,
a while ago.
but he was older as an adult. It's okay if it's... What you have to remember, I don't really want to explain all this because it's so tedious, but YouTube has a problem with showing anyone under the age of 16, even if it's someone else who's sent a photograph. But if it's us, it's okay because there's Steve and there's me. You see? Why am I explaining this?
Well, you have to because people don't understand.
So the picture of Pedro was when he was older, not a child.
But how does YouTube know that that's a picture of me
God,
that you just showed?
Steve, because it is.
Yeah, but surely the algorithms will just pick up a picture of a boy.
Algorithms.
Well,
Steve.
is somebody watching it then?
Yes. Oh my God.
Well, somebody's watching everything that we do.
Yes, people out there can report any video on YouTube for anything. You do. Why am I having to explain this?
Well, we want to know. We want to understand, Mr.
There's
Duncan.
literally a big...
You don't have to get upset.
There is a button underneath every video on YouTube that says report.
Note to self, get new
Note
job.
to self.
All right, don't get upset, Mr. Duncan. Just explain it.
I'm not getting upset.
I just want you to
I just can't believe that you don't understand what I'm saying.
Well, I don't know.
We can't show
videos.
pictures of minors. Okay?
I don't. Well, right, Mr. Duncan, but I didn't know the bit about people being able to report your videos.
Yes,
this is what I think a lot of people probably don't realise.
I think everyone knows.
Well, I don't know.
Underneath every video on YouTube, the billions and billions of videos that are on YouTube, everyone says report underneath.
I've never seen that.
For God's sake.
Well, they might report it because they don't like seeing pictures of me.
Yes, but that doesn't matter. That's a stupid reason for it. People don't report it because they don't like the look of something.
Anyway, moving on, Mr. Duncan. I think we've dealt with that subject. I think I'll get another job. I think already spent too much time with Mr. Duncan.
I think you might need to. The YouTube University might be a good place to go to. Dear. I don't know what to say after that.
So what are we talking about today, Mr. Duncan? Any particular subject?
Please just accept things sometimes when I say something. Just say, okay, Duncan, fine. And that's it.
Okay, yes, fine. Let's move on.
That's it.
Let's move on, Mr. Duncan.
Oh, I know. But
move on.
So exhausting. Today, we are looking at the past.
We've already done that.
No, we're looking at words now. Memory and remembering words and phrases. I remember many years ago when I was young and innocent. I still am, come to think of it.
That I doubt very much.
It isn't a fight. Nitram says fight, but then Nitram is always trying to cause trouble on here.
He's not the only one.
Yes. I've noticed that. It's not an argument. We're not fighting. I'm just trying to make it clear because we have to sometimes.
Yes, but anyway. Right.
Oh, no, I'm not continuing the conversation. I'm just saying we have to be careful because I like being here on YouTube. I love it. Please don't report.
Words and phrases connected with the past, as I would pronounce it.
Okay. Memory and remembering. How do you say memory?
Pardon?
How do you say it?
Memory.
That's it. And I say it, memory. Oh, that's the same. Oh, that's good. Remembering. Do we say it the same?
Remembering.
Remembering. Oh, good. Okay. We share that one.
Well,
But-
it's
but
things
but
with
not past.
it's things with like A in it.
Yes.
So Mr. Duncan would say past.
Yes.
I would say past.
Hmm.
Just depends on what you were taught as a child.
Posh. Common, you see. I was raised in the woods by
It's-
wild animals.
It's words with A in it, like if you like to dance, if you like going dancing, but Mr. Duncan would say dancing, and other parts of the country, Londoners would probably say dancing. People up north would probably say dancing. I mean, that's don't
Up-
take that as an absolute rule.
Up north.
Yeah, sort of north of London. Last, past can all turn into past or last, depending on if you want to pronounce the A as an AR, an R, or an A.
Hmm.
And it doesn't matter, both are right. But if I was to ever pronounce my A's the way Mr. Duncan does, my mother would rap me over the knuckles and say, I did not bring you up to speak like that, Stephen.
Hmm.
She would insist that I elongate my A's.
Open your A's.
Yes. Last night, I slept very well. If I said last night, my mother would say, pardon, what did you say? I didn't bring you up to speak like that. In that
Good.
common way.
Hello, Narrymane. Narrymane says, finally, Mr. Duncan, I can attend your live stream. How are you both? We are well, even though there is a lot going on at the moment around us. Lots of things are happening, generally in our lives and also right here in the studio. It's us, you see. We're live now. Memory and remembering, words and phrases. We often say that we remember something. To remember something, it can be anything, any information that you've stored in your brain and it has stayed there. Maybe something from the distant past, or maybe something from this morning. Maybe some information that you received this morning. You were told all about it this morning and you remember it. So remember has two meanings. To remember means to put information into your brain, but also it means to recall information as well. So you are remembering something, you memorize, and then you remember, you bring that information back out from your brain. You remember it. But of course, remembering things can be all sorts of things from your past. Maybe your childhood, maybe your first day at school, maybe your final day at school, maybe the first person you ever fell in love with. Yes, very nice.
Thank you, Giovanni Rivetti, for your kind words towards me. Thank you very much for that.
So Steve now is unemployed.
Well, let's just say I'm not working at the moment.
That's what they say in acting, by the way. You know, actors, when actors aren't working, they say they are resting. So maybe that's a good one, Steve.
Yes, well, let's just say it was my choice.
Yes.
Let's just say it was my choice.
Steve is now resting, not retired.
Something about Palmyra. I'll try and find out what that is. Okay. Carry on, Mr. Duncan.
Okay,
Carry on.
I am here. To remember something, you can also express it as thinking back. You think back. You think back into the past. So all of these words very, very clearly describe something not from now, but something from the past. You think back. We can also say, another word I like, Steve, is to reminisce. I think that's what we were doing this morning when we were looking at your old photographs.
Yes, to reminisce, to look back on the past, normally in a nice way. If you're reminiscing, you would say you were looking back possibly on the nice things that happened. Think I'm correct there, Mr. Duncan?
Generally speaking, reminisce is to remember the good times.
Yes. And it's, some people like to do that quite often. I think as people get older, as they have more years behind them, they tend to look back more and reminisce and talk with friends and family about events that happened in the past. You might have a photograph and it's you and a friend together somewhere at a party, and then you will chat about that. You will reminisce about a nice event that happened in the past. Belarusia says that she's been chopping onions while listening to the lesson.
Hello, Claudia, because you've been busy today. Claudia is doing a lot. Like hers, her life is very busy behind the scenes. So it's nice to see that you are cooking something, chopping some onions.
Cooking a stew, I believe, Claudia said earlier.
Oh.
Her father, she's looking after her father, cooking a stew, watching us. Her brother's coming over later with ravioli.
Even better.
So food is a central thing in your lives, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Life revolves around meals.
Yes. I think it's safe to say food is part of everyone's life in some way or another.
Faison Flazer is new as well today, apparently. So welcome to you, Faison, from Malawi.
Oh, hello, Malawi.
So people have been saying hello to you, so we'll say hello as well.
We are talking about memory and remembering words and phrases that we can use. We also can say that we look back. You can look back. So physically, you can look back. You can look behind you. You can look back. But also, figuratively, you can look back as well. If you remember the past, you look back over the years. A person will remember. They will remember things that happen, maybe moments that they want to remember, maybe significant moments of time as well. To look back. You look back over your life. And one thing I do remember, when your mother was staying with us the last time she was here for a few days, I remember you spent a couple of afternoons talking about lots and lots of memories from your childhood, and even memories from your mother's childhood as well, going back many, many years. So it is always nice to do that, to remember the good times, remember the times from the past. You flick through the pages of your memory. And that's what you've been doing this morning.
Yes, you can say flicking through the memories, pages of your past. Actually, Lewis makes an interesting comment. It's a very similar comment, Lewis, that my mother has made many times, that as you get older and older, and then many of your friends from when you were younger start to die, sadly. And my mother has said the same thing, that unfortunately, most of my mother's friends are dead, virtually all of them. So that's why it's important, I think, throughout your life to carry on making new friends, particularly friends that are younger than yourself. And of course, we're a big friendly community here, people of all ages watching. And I think it's very important, I think, not to just stick with your old friends that you've known for many years, that you went to school with maybe, went to college with, because if you just stick with those friends, and it's sad when they die, but if you end up being the one that's living a long time, then they'll all die and you'll have no friends. So, well, all I would say is, Lewis, you have lots of friends here, and they're all new friends, relatively new friends, and hopefully we'll all be around for a long time, and still, hopefully, we'll still sticking to our promise of meeting up one day.
Yes.
And we decided that Paris was going to be the place, and I think maybe we'll be doing that next year. Well, now I'm not working.
Yeah.
Who knows? I've flexibility, Mr. Duncan. We can go when we want.
Mr. Steve is free all the time, so there is nothing holding us back now. We can have our big get together any time. I remember a period of time where your mother would phone, and every time your mother phoned, another person had died.
I know.
It was almost regular, wasn't it?
Yes.
Every time your mother phoned you at the weekend, or you phoned her during the week, there was always another person in your mum's life, or maybe someone she used to know in the place where she used to live who had passed away.
Yeah. I know, it is sad. That's why you've got to carry on making new friends all the time. I think, as soon as one dies, you have to make another one. You can only have so many friends, can't you? Because it becomes very difficult to meet up, talk to... what is the limit, I wonder? I've often wondered about this with friends. What is the maximum limit? Is there a maximum limit? Maybe it's different from person to person, whereby you have so many that you start to neglect them a bit, because in order to remain friends with somebody, you have to have a certain amount of contact, don't you?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it once a week, once a month? And if you get too many, I found this in life, you get new friends, and then some of the older ones, you stop contacting them, and you gradually lose that. And sometimes they don't necessarily die, but you just... I wouldn't say get bored with them, but somehow you just gradually drift away.
I suppose it's similar to the people you went to school with. And quite often, as your lives emerge from the other side of your period of education, then you find that you all drift apart. You drift apart from the people you went to school with, even if they were best friends or close friends. So that's one of the things you were trying to do, wasn't it, Steve? Trying to remember some of the girls and boys you went to university with.
Yes, I think you've just... Yes, you can only have so many friends, though. I went through a period in my life when I had lots of friends, and unfortunately you can't keep meeting up. I've got people at work, well, ex-work, where they were... always, every weekend they were going away somewhere to stay with friends, and she used to get quite not upset, but she said, well, it was just like a weekend at home to ourselves, always being invited out somewhere to meet up with friends.
Well, that proves that you can have too many friends.
I think you can have can you have too many friends? That is the question. Can you have too many friends? Well,
another thing that happens, I think a lot of people like to keep certain individuals or friends in their lives just so they have someone that they can call their friend, even if they don't like them 100%. So you might find that there are people who you want to keep in your life, but you don't necessarily like them 100%. So that can also happen from time to time as well. But yes, it is true. It is true.
Yes. Giovanni says... Giovanni, I should say, says, it's difficult to make friends after 30. Any tips? Yes, join things.
Yes.
Whatever your hobbies or interests are, join a society where you can meet up with people.
Yes.
And that would be I'd say that would be one tip I would say, because I'm in a choir. Well, in a couple of choirs and musical societies, and you make lots of friends that way. Well, you make lots of acquaintances, and then you might make one or two friends that you meet up with and go for meals with, maybe in a group. So yes, I would say join something that you're interested in. Join a group, and because it's better. It's fine here. We're all friends here. But we're interacting on the live chat, but it's nice to meet people physically.
That's what I was about to say. Nowadays, I think people do prefer to have friends who are not physical friends. It's so anything that distracts you from your day-to-day life, anything that makes you feel as if you have contact, it doesn't necessarily have to be physical nowadays. For example, on my Facebook page, I think I have around 15,000 followers and friends on Facebook. 15,000. But I don't know all of those people personally. I've in fact, many of them I've never met ever in my life. And yet, there we are, all together on Facebook.
Yes, and if people ask you out as well, sometimes you don't want to go out in the evening, but sometimes in the week, particularly if you're working, it's good to make an effort, because if you don't, if you keep refusing invites to parties and friends' houses, eventually they'll stop inviting you, and then you might get a bit lonely.
Another phrase we often use when we remember, we take a walk down memory lane. We take a little stroll. We walk down memory lane. Again, this is figurative. So we are remembering things from our past. We take a walk down memory lane. I actually made a video, a lesson all about memory, and it is on my YouTube channel. And the link, I've actually put the link underneath this video. So if you look underneath in the description, you will find the link to my lesson all about memory. It's one of my favourite lessons as well, because it's all filmed in the beautiful landscape of Shropshire. Very nice.
Yes, it's nice to have friends. I mean, Lewis says that he's got his virtual friends here, old friends, and also his son's friends from high school and university. So yes, it's good to have friends of all ages, because then you stay in touch. It's good to have younger friends and have conversations with younger people, because then you stay in touch with what's happening in the world. If you only have friends of your own age, then you can get stuck in the past all the time. You need to know what is influencing people, what people are interested in, because the world changes. It's always changing. It never stays still. So it's good to have younger friends for that reason.
Yes, friends of all ages, and it's a good way of keeping in touch with current trends. And I think also it's not just a one-way street. It works both ways. So if you have younger friends, you are also imparting or passing on some of your own knowledge and maybe some wisdom at the same time. Maybe, perhaps.
Helping each other along, that's what friends are about, helping each other out. A true friend has got your best interest at heart, whereas, I mean, I've got one or two friends, and I do wonder whether they're really friends, because, as you say, sometimes you can see people who you've known for a long time, because it's like a habit. You've known them for like 40 years, and you just carry on seeing them, and you wonder why sometimes, because sometimes the conversations are a bit staid, a bit boring, or you just don't think that they really want to meet up with you, but you just sort of go through the motions.
Yes. But as I said, I think sometimes as well, people don't want to let go of their friends, even if they don't like them, because they don't want to lose the number of friends around them. So I think sometimes that happens. It is a very delicate balance, I think.
Matt Lindell, or Lindell, says it's not enjoyable to become old farts. That's a good phrase.
Speak for yourself.
If you're an old fart, it means you're old, an old person who is sort of set in their ways and isn't willing to be open to new ways of working, new ways of doing things, just stuck in the past. An old fart. They might not be a nasty person. In fact, they probably won't be a nasty person. It's almost a term of endearment, isn't it? Almost. You old fart. It just means...
I'm not sure.
You're stuck in your ways.
It is an insult as well.
You haven't moved with the times.
It is.
An insult. You might say, for example, to somebody, can I have your email address? And they might say, oh, I don't do email. Social media, you won't get me on that. And you might say, oh, you old fart.
Yes.
So somebody that doesn't keep up with the times.
Yes, but never call anyone that, because you can call yourself that. Of course, you can say, oh, I can't keep up with all this modern technology. I am such an old fart.
You can say it to people as long as you say it in a sort of a joking way.
Yes, and you know them.
Yes, and you know them. It's a little insulting, but not too much. So that's a good phrase. So thank you for that, Matt.
Nitram. I think this might be a song. Wait there, let's have a look. Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me for sure. That's what friends are for good times and bad times. I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for.
So who's that then? Who wrote that? Stevie Wonder? Could be.
I know there was a charity song a few years ago with that song. I can't remember. I want to say Diana Ross. I don't know why. I want to say Diana Ross
tell us.
Had the original hit. That's what friends are for. Or maybe Aretha.
Palmyra says, it's a pleasure when after a long time you find a friend from your youth on Facebook. See, I'm not on Facebook. So, well, I sort of am. I occasionally have a little look. But now I've got more time on my hands.
Yes.
I've got time on my hands. That means I've got lots of free time.
Yes.
Then maybe I can get into Facebook, Mr. Duncan, and find some friends from my youth. I would like to do that. I'd like to meet up with some of my old school friends because I'm not in touch with any of them. Be interesting to see how many of them are still alive.
Oh, by the way, it was Dionne Warwick. I was near. I knew it was Diana Ross, Dionne Warwick, Aretha Franklin, one of those great singers from the past.
Dionne Warwick, yes, a lovely singer. She's one of my favourites as well. Yes, Dionne Warwick, that's what friends are for. But it's first recorded by Rod Stewart.
Oh, okay.
In 1982. And Stevie Wonder, so I was right.
Yes, it has been done. Well, it's been covered by everyone, I think.
That is nice, Elton John.
It's one of those songs that has been covered by many people. But there was a charity song as well of that, with lots of different people singing along. Very similar to Band Aid. Very similar to that.
Yes.
Very nice. Chat about old times. There's nothing nicer, there's nothing better than sitting down with a relative or a friend and you just chat about old times. Maybe two people who actually know each other and they have a connection. Well, we do it sometimes, don't we?
Yes.
All of the things that we've done in our lives and things that we've done together in our lives. The places we've been, the people we've met, the adventures that we've had. We have lived quite a fast-paced life in certain ways.
Yes, you can. I often do that with one of my friends from college days. We meet up and chat about old times. In fact, we always do that when we go and meet my friend Sonia. We chat about old times, uni days, past relationships, things like that. It's quite nice to do that because I think it helps to keep the memories going.
Yes.
Because, I mean, we've got Facebook now, we've got photographs, but, I mean, my mother always repeats lots of stories throughout my childhood. There's a certain set of circumstances, events that happened that she always tells you about, always repeats them. But of course, that's the only way in the past, or the past, that you would be able to remember these things, is to carry on repeating them at regular intervals, because that's how it's passed on from one generation to the next. because you might not have been writing it down. There would be no way of recording it on social media, or maybe with a photograph even. But so constantly repeating a story is a way of remembering. I can remember all the stories Mum told me about her past working life and things that she's done. Little bits of advice. I mean, when you think of tribes years ago, all that advice and information would be passed down by word of mouth. Important things for survival. How to cook food, how to kill an animal to eat it, things like that. And so older generations tend to repeat stories a lot to you because that was the only way of passing the information reliably on to the next generation. Seem to have gone into a bit of a monologue, Mr. Duncan.
Of course, these days there are many ways of passing information on through email. You can take photographs, you can take video. So maybe you can tell your life story on video. You can record it and reminisce. And then after you've gone, after you are no more, that memory will still be there. And it can be relived as many times as possible.
Victoria makes a good point. It's all right to look back at the past, but you have to live in the present moment.
It is true.
Something is a lesson that I need to learn more is to live in the present moment, which when I'm on the live stream here, you have to live in the present moment. Otherwise, if you're not you can only live in the present moment. This is the present right now.
Right now.
So when I'm not here, I might be thinking back to the past, somebody that's wronged me. That's a popular pastime of mine, thinking of people that have wronged me and how I'm going to get my revenge. It's not very healthy, but I do a lot of that. Yes, living in the present moment, which is what this is very good for me. You having another slug of water, Mr. Duncan?
I'm thirsty.
If you have a slug of something, a drink, it means you have a large quantity of it. You can have a slug of whiskey. It means a big, fat amount of alcohol. I'm having a slug of whiskey.
Yes.
Or a slug of gin.
Another word is gulp.
Slug, it just means a large amount. Straight down.
Straight down.
Neat. That's how Tomek has his drinks, I'm sure. I don't know. All right, Mr. Duncan, next word.
Have you actually run out of things to say? This might be the first time ever in the history of us being on the live stream that you've just stopped talking.
Well, I just ran out of something to say. I was hoping you would take up the baton, Mr. Duncan, and be professional.
Let us now cast our minds back. Cast our minds back. Back in time, into the distant past. So you might cast your mind back when you are looking into the past. You remember things from your childhood, remember things from the distant past. You cast your mind back. And sometimes it does take a while. Sometimes it takes a while to remember things from your past. I think you have to have the right moment to do it. Because I think you remember things easier in certain situations, maybe if you are relaxed. If you're worried or anxious or upset, it's very hard to remember anything. Your brain becomes scrambled in that moment. But if you are in a relaxed moment, maybe with pleasant, lovely company, like Mr. Steve or your mum, and we might be talking about the past and everything is very relaxed, and then suddenly all of these memories start to come back.
It's a phrase that can be used to mean the recent past as well. It's quite often a phrase that can be used at work. I know I've been in meetings at work and someone will say, cast your mind back to 6 months ago when we said blah, 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 blah. Or cast your mind back last week when we all had a meeting about. So it can be used as a phrase to trigger somebody to think back about a meeting, a work meeting. But it's a phrase that often is used quite a lot in sort of in the work environment, maybe to get you to think about a meeting or something that happened maybe in the recent past. It could be last week or a month ago or 6 months ago. But yeah, cast your mind back to last week when we talked about can be used in that way.
You might remember something fondly. I like that word, fond. Something you are fond of, or maybe something you remember fondly. It is something you remember, and when you do, when the memory comes back to you, oh, yes, I remember that. Oh, what a wonderful time that was. Remember that day we went for that lovely walk and we picked blueberries and the bees were buzzing around and the butterflies were fluttering and everything was perfect. You remember that moment fondly, always with pleasure and love.
Yes, you would tend to use that maybe with somebody. That's quite fondly. It means if you're fond of somebody, it means you like them very much. You're fond of somebody. You may even be in love with them. So maybe you wouldn't say that. Maybe a man wouldn't say that to his male friend. I probably wouldn't use that to my male friends. I remember fondly the time when we went for a drive and then got drunk at the pub. But you might use it. Your mother might use it to you. Your mother might say, "Oh, I remember fondly when you were a young boy and I was knitting clothes for you and you loved the zips and you loved to go to school in my knitted clothes." So maybe a mother would say it to a child, or maybe a child would say it about their parents. "Oh, I remember fondly, mother, when you used to cook us meals every Sunday," or something like that. Men probably wouldn't say that to each other, would they,
No.
Mr. Duncan?
Unless they are maybe in a relationship.
Yes.
Or they are very fond of each other.
Here's a good phrase. A good thank you, Inaki. Thinking continuously of the future leads to anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking continuously of the past leads to depression. The only real thing is the present.
Yes.
And that is no truer word has been said on today's live stream. So thank you very much for that.
That is important because now is the only time that really matters. We are all on the same journey. We are all sitting in the same seat, going along, travelling through time. That's the best you can make of it, really, I suppose.
Yes, so thank you for that. Those wise words, Inaki.
So you can remember the good times and also the bad times. There might be moments that you remember that you don't want to remember, but they are still important memories. So some memories that are not so nice might be also how you learned about something, what to do and what not to do. So good memories and bad memories can be equally significant.
Nitram's always coming up with. Nitram's come up with a nice phrase as well. It was Neil deGrasse Tyson said, "In some ways we are travelling in time now. We just happen to be prisoners of the present in the eternal transition from the past to the future." Yes.
You are holding on.
There's a philosophical, you see, even I have problems with English words, a philosophical phrase or sentence, I would say.
So just like life, time is relative and it depends how you look at it. It's all in here. At the end of the day, it's how you perceive it and what you do with it.
I spend too much time thinking about the past. I do.
Yes.
And getting depressed.
I don't think there's any problem with remembering the past as long as you don't let it colour your future or your present. I think so. Something can jog your memory. Something jogs your memory. Maybe a certain thing, maybe a certain sound or a certain smell will bring back a memory from your past, or maybe something you are trying to remember, and you are trying to find some sort of suggestion or hint to help you remember. To jog your memory means to help someone remember something in a certain way, or a person might suddenly remember something just because of a certain sound, or a certain smell, or a certain taste. Sometimes those memories can come flooding back.
A photograph can jog a memory
Yes.
of a past event.
Definitely.
So you might see a photograph of some friends all together, and you've forgotten that particular event when you were all together. The photograph has jogged your memory. It has made you suddenly remember that past event. And as Mr. Duncan says, it's normally physical things that will revive a memory that's deep in your brain somewhere. Normally something physical like a sight, a smell, a sound, something like that.
Or a song.
Or a song will... do you remember that song when we were standing on the beach in Acapulco or something like that?
The night we met.
The night we met.
We were dancing to a certain song, and maybe that song becomes your song. Maybe if you're in a relationship, maybe you have a certain piece of music that you both remember. Maybe it was playing at the disco whilst you were dancing together. It's always possible.
Yes, we need to come up with a way of travelling close to the speed of light, says Nitram, because then we can travel into the future.
Yes.
Yes, but trouble is when you come back, everyone's dead.
Yes, that's the problem.
That's the only trouble with that Einstein's theory of travelling near the speed of light in a spaceship.
Yes.
If you travel for sort of 30 years, you come back, everyone's dead.
Yes.
Which is good if you want to get away from people.
Yes. I think it's the distance, but also the speed as well, isn't it? So as you travel faster, did you know that if you go in an aeroplane on a long journey for many hours, you actually do travel in time?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Infinitesimal amount.
It's so tiny. It's so tiny.
Fractions of a second.
But you've actually travelled in time very slightly. Time has altered around you because of the speed of the aeroplane. But because the speed isn't very fast, because it has to be thousands and thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of miles an hour, maybe millions of miles an hour before anything can actually alter that you would notice. But yes, it's true. So you could probably set, if you had a very accurate clock, you could set it to the millisecond, and you can get on a plane and then get to the other end. And if there is someone at the other end who also has a clock that's set to the same, you will find that there will be a difference. But it might only be a fraction of a second difference. But that difference is you travelling through time.
Einstein's theories and all that. Lewis says that Mr. Duncan spoke about time in his 17th lesson.
Yes, that was a long time ago.
So well remembered, Lewis.
That was a long time ago.
Remembered. Even I didn't know that. I bet you didn't remember that it was lesson 17.
I don't remember the lesson number, but I do remember during the lesson my lollipop. I'm eating a big lollipop, and the sweet, the candy that I'm eating gets actually larger as the video goes on. So it gets larger and larger.
Nitram says that GPS systems need to correct for general relativity's effects. How incredible is that?
Yes.
In order to get accurate fixes, presumably. It's incredible because they're obviously the satellites are up in space orbiting, aren't they?
Yes.
That's incredible.
So they all have to keep synchronizing themselves to make sure that there isn't any drift. So it is true. I'm not making that up, by the way. You can travel through time, even if you travel by plane.
Nitram obviously is very knowledgeable in this subject. and would be very interesting to have a conversation with you about that, Nitram. Ah, right, yes. Well, any more words, Mr. Duncan?
Yes, there's plenty more. We never run out of anything to say here. What is your earliest memory whilst we're talking about this? So cast your minds back into the distance. Mr. Steve, try to cast your mind back to maybe yesterday or the day before.
I can remember further back than that, Mr. Duncan.
We're just making fun of Mr. Steve because he does forget things sometimes.
So what's your earliest memory, Mr. Duncan?
My earliest memory is playing in the garden of the house that we originally lived in. And we used to have chickens running around in the garden. So we would often let them out and they would run around the garden, and then we would lock them back up in its little house, chicken house. But I also remember another thing. I used to play with my grandmother or my mother's handbag quite a lot, which explains a lot when you think about it. It really does. So that's an early memory. Another early memory, I suppose one of my earliest memories is waving goodbye to my mother on my first day at school when I was 5. Very horrible memory, having to wave to your mother and she's walking away. And I still remember the last little moment that I could see my mother before she went around the corner. And it was quite terrifying at the time. So I remember that. So these are early memories. But I do remember playing in the garden. We used to have this huge garden in the first house that we lived in. And we had chickens. And every night or every morning, we would always find that one of the chickens was missing. We had maybe 10 chickens, and then every day or every other week, one of the chickens would suddenly vanish because there were predators taking them away.
Yes, all my early memories are bad ones.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I remember, I think I must have been, most people can remember something from around the age of 3. I think that's when your brain becomes developed enough that it can actually store memories. Before the age of sort of 2.5, or 2, I don't think your brain has formed enough for you to be able to remember things. But I do remember falling into my father's rose bushes. I've recalled this story before.
Yes.
I was about 2.5 or 3 and getting a big whack for it. I also remember playing with my mother's pram and smashing it into my father's greenhouse and breaking a pane of glass. I was probably about 3 as well at the time. I can also remember, and again, getting a hit for that.
Wow.
I can also remember a song, a memory of a song. So whenever I hear Downtown...
Oh, yes.
Who sang Downtown?
Petula Clark. Petula Clark.
That's the first song. I remember that being played in, I must have only been about 3.5 maybe, or could have been younger. I can still remember that being played in the kitchen when I was probably in a pram or something. I don't know. So I do remember that. Ooh. Oh, so tempting. So tempting. You'd have loved to have seen that, wouldn't you? And there we go. So that whenever I hear that song, that jogs a memory of going back to the house that I first remember us living in. So yes, jogging your memory. And that was my earliest memory. Yes, you start to store memories when you speak, says Tomek. Parineo says, my earliest memory is... Oh no, I can't quite read that. Going to school for the first day, says Inaki. Around 4 years old. I also remember when I went to Cub Scouts. Lots of memories there, but one in particular was, like you had with your mother, taking you to school for the first time.
And there is Steve as a Cub Scout.
Well, the first time I went, I was very upset my mother left me, because I think it was the first time I'd ever been left on my own. And I was happy there, but obviously I was probably a bit tearful earlier on. People recalling their earliest memories. Beatrice with her brother in her grandfather's yard with a homemade car. Maybe it was a model toy. We were 3 and 4 years old. Lots of happy memories. Strange that all my memories are bad ones.
It would appear that your father used to beat you a lot.
No, he didn't actually.
Oh, okay.
At all. I'm giving this impression that my father regularly beat me, but that is not true. 2
random stories from your memory, and both of them end with your father beating you.
But he didn't when I was older.
Okay, well, he couldn't. You would beat him back?
No, he didn't really. He did then. I don't know why he stopped, actually. Obviously, he thought I wasn't going to remember it at that age.
Well, you probably grew up. Once you become as big as your dad, it's very hard for him to beat you.
Yeah, but I mean, not when you're 5 or 6.
No, that's true.
There we go, yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Belarusia, Claudia says, my earliest memory was a baby, yes. 1 year old. Well, maybe you're special. Maybe you're special if you can remember that far back.
Steve remembers being breastfed by his mum, but then he was 7 at the time. This is a discussion we had. Do you remember the time we talked about that on here? And we talked for a long time about, because I had felt, or I sensed somehow, that maybe your mother breastfed you until you were about 7.
I was quite late. My mother always told me that she did breastfeed me to quite a long time, because the nurses at the time, the midwives, used to say, don't put your son on solid food until I tell you. So I think I was quite old. I don't know, how long can you breastfeed a child for? 2 years?
Before it becomes weird.
2 years?
Yeah.
3 years? I don't know.
I have seen some. Well, there are some trendy parents nowadays who don't want to take away the breast from the baby. So as the child grows up, they still allow the child just to go up and have a little suckle. So we are talking maybe 8 or 9 years old, which it's almost becoming indecent, to be honest, at that stage.
Giovanni remembers falling into fountains in search of little coins.
Oh, I know what you were doing. You were trying to rob the wishing well. People were throwing coins into the fountain to make a wish.
What's it? The shiny coins that attracted you?
I think it was the cash. I was there as well.
Well, we've got 5 minutes left, Mr. Duncan. I'm feeling hungry and faint.
Are you?
Because I've been standing for the last hour and a half, and before that I was chopping logs. Because we need to burn more wood this winter, because electricity and gas fuel costs are too expensive.
Yes.
So we need to burn more logs, Mr. Duncan.
Yes.
So I'm going to be out there chopping away.
Who knows, if the electricity becomes too expensive, Mr. Steve and myself, we'll just have a candle here, just candlelight. Although I don't know how we're going to power the studio.
Well, Nitram, look at Nitram and his very philosophical way of thinking today. What if we live in a simulation, like a matrix, and all our memories are programmed?
Yeah.
Well, yes, there was a story on Star Trek Next Generation about that. But that is one explanation that people have for the existence of the universe, is that we don't really exist. We're in some computer program that aliens invented, billions of years ago.
Okay.
And we just think we do.
This isn't the usual output that we do, by the way. So that one we will just leave on the shelf.
Because and Nitram will understand this, if you develop computer power to the point where it's infinite, because computing power is doubling, isn't it? There's a you know this, Mr. Duncan.
Yes, there's a law of doubling.
So
So every time computer power or memory space increases, it's always double.
That's it. So if it keeps on doing that, eventually it will become so powerful it's virtually got infinite power. And if it's got infinite power, it could create a universe. It could be anything's possible. So we could just be living in a simulation. We just wouldn't do it. So why worry? Why think about what's happened in the past? Why worry? It's such a stupid thing to worry about the past.
Well, all I can say to that is my particular program that I'm running on has been corrupted. Or maybe it's just Windows 97, I don't know. Maybe my program needs updating.
Taka Channel, hope I've pronounced your name correctly. My earliest memory when I was 3 years old, at the bazaar of my daycare centre, eating amazing carrot cake.
Oh.
And I remember the aroma of cinnamon.
Oh.
There we go. You see, a song for me, a smack from my father,
Yes.
and cinnamon for Taka.
I would rather have the cinnamon
Yes.
than a smack from Mr. Steve's dad, to be honest. Oh, Lewis has one now.
Yes.
My earliest memory was the birth of a younger brother, and I was 6 at the time. And it was about 8 p.m. and I heard him cry, and I asked my father, "What was that?" And he answered, "It is a rooster."
Oh, right. So it wasn't Lewis's brother then.
I think it may have been.
Right. Okay. Right.
Interesting. That's a very vivid memory.
Must have been a very loud cry. Yeah. Lovely. Well, Mr. Duncan, 2 minutes to go.
Yes,
we know what that means.
It's almost time to say goodbye. We are going to have a cup of tea.
Do you believe in aliens, says Mohammed Hanif Aquila. Well, do you mean me? Let's not get into that subject. I used to, then I didn't. Now I'm not sure.
I don't think we're going to cover that subject in 60 seconds. That seems like another 2 hours.
Well, somewhere there's definitely life somewhere else.
Yes.
Absolutely, it's guaranteed.
And don't forget, the word alien is always misused. Alien is just something unknown or something from the outside, not belonging in one place from somewhere else. So it is often used in that way. The other one that annoys me is when people talk about UFOs. When a person says UFO, they don't mean a spaceship from Mars. They just mean something they've seen that they can't identify. So it isn't necessarily a spaceship, you see.
It's become synonymous, hasn't it?
But it's a silly notion because UFO is not a spaceship. It is just something you see and you go, oh no, I don't know what that was. It's a bit like the space rocket that did not take off yesterday. Again, Artemis 1 is supposed to be going to the moon and round the moon. And it failed again yesterday.
It's not a good start, is it?
It's another leak. They keep having leaks.
Not a good start.
Yes, apparently hydrogen. You don't want hydrogen leaks.
You don't want a hydrogen leak, no.
Because that's what happened to the Challenger. If you remember, when the Challenger blew up in the mid-80s, that was all about hydrogen. You do not want hydrogen to ignite.
Right, I'm going to go into the kitchen, Mr. Duncan. It's been interesting being here today. It's been lovely.
It has. Good.
Most of it. So I'll hopefully see you all next week.
Mr. Steve.
Maybe on Wednesday even, I don't know. But,
Mr.
I
Steve.
don't know whether people want me to be here on a regular basis.
Steve is having to adjust to his new life of freedom. And you know what?
It's only been 3 days.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's still adjusting.
Yes.
3 days of this.
Bruno.
You see.
Thank you, Bruno.
Bruno, thank you very much for your super chat, your sticker saying thank you to us. Thank you. It's very kind of you.
Thank you, Beatrice, Maria, Marshmallow, Alessandra, Mohammed. Thank you, Maria. Thank you for your good wishes. And I will see you all. I'm not going to see you next Sunday. It could be sooner.
Yes.
But I will see you all very soon. And enjoy your week or enjoy your time. that we spend apart.
And don't forget also, there is a new lesson. A new lesson. I have filmed out and about in the local town where I live. I've made a lesson, and I will be posting that early on Tuesday. Very early on Tuesday. And then, of course, I am with you on Wednesday, and we might see the first appearance, his face, the first appearance of Mr. Steve in the week. On Wednesday, we will see what's happening. He might be outside.
Might be too busy.
He might be outside, busy with his chopper.
Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you for your comments there.
we
right, off into the kitchen. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Mr. Steve is going now. Bye-bye, Mr. Steve. Bye-bye. He's going now. It's nice. Next time, Steve, can you wear some underpants? That would be very nice. It was rather distracting, to say the least. It's time to go. Look at that. 2 minutes past 4 o'clock. We've been here for 2 hours. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. There is a new lesson coming on Tuesday. A brand new lesson. Ooh, very nice. And also, don't forget, I am back with you on Wednesday, and we might see the first appearance of Mr. Steve. Now he has lots and lots of leisure time, so we will see what happens there. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. It's been interesting. I hope it has been educational. I hope you have learned something new today. If you have, then my job is done for this particular live stream anyway. Catch you later. See you soon. Thank you very much for your company today. I will leave you for a few moments to say goodbye to each other, because I know how important that is. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English, saying thanks for watching. See you soon. Take care of yourself wherever you are in the world. And of course, until the next time we meet here, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. I can hear Mr. Steve preparing a lovely cup of tea. Ta-ta for now.